So to convert from the bigger value to the smaller value, you multiply. So here it is now. Where we want to know, find out how the teller came up with $8,900. Simply, you multiply the 89 by the 100, and therefore that is converted to 8,900 Jamaican dollars. So if she wants to purchase 100 US dollars, then she would have to spend 8,900 Jamaican dollars to get 100 US dollars. Simply. So you can, if I were you, change this to $90 or change it to $100 and try to figure out how many Jamaican dollars 100 US would be. Or you could change this to 10 US dollars and find out how many Jamaican dollars you would get. Do that now if you want to understand this right on the spot. Now, what if I had 700 Jamaican dollars and I needed some US dollars? How much US dollar will I get using the same rate? Now we're using the same exchange rate, which is 1 US dollars to what? 89 Jamaican dollars. Now this time is different. To convert from the smaller value to the bigger value, you what? Divide. So we're going to convert from Jamaican to what? US. So simply, so you can know, right? So guess what? If you're converting from Jamaican to US, you simply divide what? The amount you have by the exchange rate value right here. So the $700 now will be divided by the what? $89, and then the US amount will be equal to $7.87. Easy, don't it? Change the numbers and try make up a question here for yourself. Do that right now. Of course, you know will not go without giving you another. Try this question. Good. An American tourist changed US $925 into Trinidad and Tobago currency at the exchange rate 1 US dollars to $6.30 TT dollars. Calculate the amount of TT dollars he received. The tourist spent TT dollars $2,677.50 and changed the remaining TT dollars into American currency at the same exchange rate. Calculate the amount of US dollars he received. Int. Both examples relate to this question, but you got to read the question carefully and compare it to the example shown before. Now pause the video and try this question. The answer for part A, it should be $5,827.50, and for part B, it should be 500 US dollars. If you got both these questions correct, of course, you give yourself a CDP Maths Lab Teaching and Learning Center clap. But if you got them incorrect, remember, follow the instruction. Return to the examples and look to see where you went wrong. Do you want to do well on the exams? Well, guess what? Follow instructions. Now, final topic, salaries and wages. Now, once again, we're going to use another comic strip to introduce the topic. So you got to look, listen, and read. Pay attention. All right? Let's go. Good evening, sir. May I get a job with you? Yes, you can. I have two vacancies. For the monthly pay job, I offer $20,000 per month. And for the wage job, I offer $500 per hour. Which do you prefer? I would have to think about it. How many hours would I have to work for? 40 hours per week. Mm, let's see which is best. Okay, now please note, if you didn't record the vital information that the farmer, the man who bought the land from the lady, that you could replay the video and write those down, especially the her monthly salary, which is $20,000, her basic or the hours that she would have to work and the amount she'd get for each hour. You got to write those down, okay? All right. Now, to calculate yearly salary, multiply the month salary by what? 12. For example, now the $20,000 is the amount she would get for working for 1 month. But for the year, you would have to multiply that by 12 and you'll get what? $240,000. Now note, 12 months make 1 year. So if she was working for 2 months, she'd get how many? 40,000. If she was working for three, she'd get how many? 60,000. So if you add this 20 times, sorry, 12 times, then you'll get what? $240,000. As simple as that. So that is how you calculate monthly salary. Now, if you are given, yearly salary, if you are given the yearly salary and asked to find the monthly salary, then what you would do is that you will divide the yearly salary by 12 to get the what? Monthly salary. To calculate the basic wage, multiply the basic rate by the basic week, which is hours worked. For example, now note this $500 which he offered to pay her per hour is considered as the basic rate. So the $500 here is the basic rate, and the 40 hours for the week, or the amount of hours worked for the week, is called the basic week. So to get the basic wage, you'd multiply $500, which is the basic rate, by the basic week, which is 40 hours, and you'll get the basic wage, which is $20,000 for the week. Now note the following. To find the basic rate, you simply divide the basic wage by the basic what? Week. And to find the basic week, you simply divide the basic wage by the basic rate. So simply, if you are given $20,000, which is the basic wage, and you're asked to find the basic rate, then you would have divided this $20,000 by 40 hours, which is the basic week, and you should get back $500, which is the basic rate. If you are given once again the basic wage and you're asked to find the basic week, then you divide that basic wage, which is the $20,000, by the basic rate, which is the what? $500, and then you'd find the amount of hours worked, which is the basic week. And That is simply that. Now you need to know these two especially because you'll be given a question which is based on these two. Okay, I will choose the weekly pay. Hmm. Okay, that's good. You're a smart girl. Do you pay overtime? Yes, I offer time and a half. That is time and a half, meaning 1.5 or 150%. Well, how much would I receive if I worked for 50 hours for the week at the same rate? Okay, now note something first that the our normal hours that she should work for the week is 40 hours. But she decides to work 50 hours, which is 10 hours more than her normal work hours. So in total, she got what? 50 hours. Now, to calculate overtime wage, first calculate overtime what? Rate. So you must calculate the overtime rate what? First. Now, overtime rate is equal to 1.5, which is the time and a half. Now, if the person says 2 or double, then you would put 2 right here. If the person said time and a quarter, then you put 1.25, right? But this farmer, he offered to this young lady time and a half, which is 1.5. So 1.5 now will be multiplied by, do you know what this is? The basic what? Rate, which is $500. And then now your overtime rate will be equal to what? $750. So in a question where you see overtime exists, you first work out the overtime what? Rate first by multiplying time by basic what? Rate. Now, the overtime wage now is equal to overtime rate times overtime worked. Now, overtime worked simply mean the extra hours the person or thing or whatever has worked for. Is that clear? So, in other words, she is supposed to work 40 hours, but she worked 50 hours. Then, in other words, then her overtime work is what? 10 hours. Simple, don't it? Just simple take 40 from 50 and you find the what? 10. So the overtime wage now was the overtime rate, which is $750, times the overtime worked, which is 10 hours, is equal to $7,500. So that is our overtime wage. Now, so our total amount worked for the week should be equal to our basic wage plus our overtime wage. So our basic wage, as you know, is $20,000 plus our overtime wage, which is $7,500, will equal to $27,500. Simply. You could make up a question now, a comic strip for yourself, and guess what? You really want to pass this exam? Follow my instruction. Make up a comic strip like what we have just done and do the same calculations like what we have just done and put yourself in the question. Think about it and try to make it real to you, and then trust me, you'll have a better understanding from the first time before. Of course, you know we have a CDP Maths Lab. Try this question. Okay, Mr. Jones works for a basic wage of $15 per hour for a 40-hour week. Part A. If Mr. Jones worked only 40 hours during a particular week, what was his wage for that week? Part B. Mr. Jones' wage for the next week was $960. If overtime is paid at double time, now note double time is basically replacing what? Time and a half. How many hours overtime did he work? Now pause your video and try this question. Answers. For A, it is $600, and for B, it is 12 hours. Now, of course, if you didn't get these answers correct, you know the drill. Return to the example and try the question again. Now, you may watch your video a second time and write your notes this time and then go to your worksheet. The end of another lesson. Created by Ronique Bernard, recorded by Leighton Smith. You have a nice day.
The days of Elijah, declaring the word of the Lord. And these are the days of your servant Moses, righteousness being restored. And though these are days of great trials, of famine and darkness and sword, still we are the voice in the desert, crying, prepare ye the way of the Lord.
Welcome to another CDP Mathematics video tutorial, your one-to-one tutor, brought to you by Ronique Bernard.
Instructions. This lesson was not designed for entertainment. It was designed to be interactive. So therefore, we're asking you to follow each instruction given to you by the tutor. If not, this video will be very useless to you and boring. So please follow each instruction. Remember to do all the try this questions before starting your worksheet. Okay, today's lesson will be on measurement. So now you've completed your tests on consumer arithmetic. I sincerely hope that you had gotten 100%. Now today we are going to be looking on another section of the CXC or the CSEC syllabus, measurement lesson number 1. Now sit back, relax, enjoy, but of course follow your instructions given to you. CSEC objectives. Students should be able to 1. Calculate the perimeter of a polygon, a circle, and combination of polygons and circles. Calculate the length of the arc of a circle. Calculate the areas of polygons, a circle, and any combination of these. Calculate the area of a sector of a circle. Our first concept for the day is perimeter. Now, once again, we're going to use another comic strip to introduce this concept. So at this moment, I would like for you to look and to listen, pay close attention so that you'll understand this concept coming from this comic strip. You will need to fence off this plot of land to keep out animals, goat, and thing. But what length barbed wire will I need? Well, first you will have to know the total distance around the land and how many levels you plan to have. But what length barbed wire will I need? To find the total distance around means to find the sum of all the lengths of a polygon. A polygon is a plane shape with 3 or more sides. Here are some examples of plane shapes. Triangle, square, parallelogram, trapezium, and rhombus. So these are examples of polygons. Finding the perimeter of a circle is different. Yes, it's different. Now here is a circle, right? Good. Note, the perimeter of a circle is its circumference. So this entire circle here, all the way around, it's a line, but it's a circular line, and it is called the what? Circumference. Now you notice this white area is enclosed by the what? Circumference. So the total distance around that area enclosed is called the circumference. How do we find the circumference of a circle? Now that's a question we're going to be answering. How do we find the circumference of a circle? Now, to find the circumference of the circle, you will need to know the length of its diameter or radius. Now, this blue line is called the diameter of the what? Circle. So, and the diameter basically cuts the circle in two equal what? Halves. And this line is called the radius. Now note that the radius is half the length of the diameter. Now the radius could be drawn from here to here, and it could be drawn from here to there, or it could be drawn from here to here, or it could be drawn from here to there. So anywhere from the center of the circle to any point on the circumference, you'll have the same length of the radius. Now I would want for you now to pause the video and draw a circle using your compass, and then draw a line from the center of the circle to the circumference, and draw another line from the center of the circle to the circumference and measure both lines with your ruler and check to see if they are equal or not. And then our point will be proven. And also draw the diameter and check to see if the diameter is twice the length of the radius you drew before. The formula to find the circumference of the circle is 2 pi r or pi d. Pi is equal to 3.142 or 22 over 7. That is 22 divided by 7. So 2 pi r means 2 times pi times length of radius. So 2 times pi times length of radius. Note also that the radius is half the diameter. Okay, try this question. Calculate the circumference of a circle with radius 3 centimeter. Use pi to be equal to 3.142. So pause the video and try this question. Did you get 18.9 centimeter? Well, if you did not get this correct, guess what you need to do? You need to return to rewind the video so that you'll see where you went wrong and then try again. And yes, you guys, this answer is correct. Don't call me unless you look over what you did. Can you calculate the length of an arc? But do you know what is an arc? An arc is a fraction of the circumference of the circle. So note that this line, circular line, is the circumference. But from this point to this point is an arc. And question, isn't it a part of the circumference? Good. So an arc is a fraction of the circumference of the circle. Good. Now, note this length from here to here. I'm going to ask you to do me this favor. I'm going to ask you to draw a circle once again with your protractor, and then you're going to take a piece of string, and if you have, say, a pin, you could stick a pin right here and stick a pin right there, and then you're going to use your string, and then you're going to outline this path of the circle with the string, and then you're going to measure the length on a ruler. Now, but however, this piece is called the arc, which is a minor arc. And then from this point all the way around to this point is called a major arc. So they are both what? Arcs. Now note something. Both arcs share the same what? Line segments, which is the same radius. So an arc is enclosed, well, we have an arc right here, and then we have two what? Radii. Good. See, they are both radii. So more than one radius is radii. To find the length of the arc, you would need to know two things. One, the length of the circumference, and 2, the angle of the sector formed. So note, you need to find the length of the circumference and 2, the angle formed. The sector is a fraction or a slice of a circle. It has 2 radii and an arc, as you were shown before. So, remember now that this section of the circle is a what? Sector. It has 1, 2 radii and an arc, which is this. So this area is called a sector, but you can have a minor sector and a major sector. So this area as well, this big area here, is also what? Sector. Note, if it was looking like this, sometimes they can give it to you looking, hold on, that's incorrect. Alright, let's try it here, and then here, and then I'm going to try and draw a curve. Alright, it's supposed to be a curved line, okay? Now, I'm saying to you that they can give you a picture simple like this, and then ask and then give you the radius, so maybe 5 centimeters, and then they ask you now to find the length of the arc, and they could give you, yes, the angle. Let's say this is 90 degrees. Good. And then they can ask you to find the length of the arc without drawing a complete circle. So a sector really is just a curved line out here and then 2 straight lines joined together, which are what? Radii. So they don't have to give you an entire circle. They can only give you just a part of the circle. So therefore, we can find 2 things, the length of an arc and the perimeter of the sector. Now how do we find the perimeter of the sector? Simple. Once you find the length of the arc and you know the length, the size or the measurement for both radius, then guess what? All you have to do is to add this length to this length and also to the length of the arc. And that is how you'd find the perimeter of the sector. Good? So it would be the length of the arc plus this radius plus this radius to give you the perimeter of the sector. Remember, the perimeter is the total distance around. To find the length of the arc, multiply the size of the angle by the circumference of the circle and divide the answer by 360 degrees. For example, now let us say that the angle is equal to 90 degrees. For example, right here, see, 90 degrees. Then now the circumference that we got before is the same circle, was 18.9 centimeters, and then you're going to multiply that by the 90 degrees, and then you're going to divide all that answer by 360 degrees. So this method would tell you or give you the length of the arc. So simply, note the angle given in degrees, multiply it by the circumference, then divide all that answer by 360 degrees. Now, note first, if you're only given the radius in a question, then it automatically means then you're supposed to find the circumference first using the radius given and the number given for pi. After you've found the circumference, then your next step now is to multiply the circumference by the angle given or the angle shown. Then now, after doing all of that, you're going to divide that answer by 360 degrees. Simple as that. Students, all you need to do is to listen, look, and follow. So do that, and you'll get the answer. Clear? Ta-da! For example, good. Find the length of an arc of a circle with angle 90 degrees and radius 3 centimeter. Use pi as 3.142. So once again, as shown before, notice they have given you two things. They have given you the angle of the sector, and they have given you what? The length of the radius. So what are you going to do? First you have to find the circumference. So therefore you'd multiply, you'd use the formula 2 pi r or pi d. Now you are given radius, so you can say 2 pi r. So it will be 2 times pi, which is 3.142, times r, which is 3 centimeter. And then of course, what would your answer be? Alright, and then when you have done that, then you're going to multiply the circumference by 90 degrees, and then after you get your answer, you're going to divide that answer by 360 degrees. Remember, I just showed you. Alright, so first, find the circumference, which is 18.9 centimeter. Now multiply this by 90 degrees. This is equal to 1701 centimeter. Then divide this answer by 360 degrees and your answer should be 4.725 centimeter. And that is easy, wasn't it? So once again, first find the circumference, which is 18.9 centimeter. Now multiply this by 90 degrees, which is the angle given, and this is equal to 1701 centimeter. Then divide this answer, which is the 1701 centimeter, by 360 degrees, and your answer should be 4.725 centimeter. Of course, you could round it off to two decimal places, which would be 4.73. Now, of course, welcome to another CDP Maths Lab Teaching and Learning Center. Try this question. It states, evaluate the perimeter of the sector, which is this sector here. Use pi as 3.142. So of course, you know the drill. Pause the video and try this question. Answer. Did you get 14.66 centimeter or 14.7 centimeter? Whichever, both answers will be correct. So the answer should be 14.66 centimeter. Now, of course, if you did not get this answer correct, what should you do? Yes, you should rewind the video and look to see where you went wrong. Look to see if you had followed the instruction or the example shown step by step, and then you may continue. Another try this question. Oh yes, you weren't expecting it? Now it states, find the perimeter of the figure shown. Which figure? This figure here. Use pi, which is equal to 3.142. Hint, hint, hint. Half of a circle is 180 degrees. Remember, the perimeter is the total distance around. Okay. Now, pause your video and try this question. Answer. Did you get this answer? 42.6 centimeter? Well, if you did, you must give yourself a clap. But guess what? For those of you who did not get this answer, don't feel any way. All you simply need to do is remember this, that the total distance around. So what you could do is use your finger and then you trace the total distance around. Good. And how do you find total? Simply add the distance of one length to the next length to the next length and to the next length, and then you should get this correct answer. Now we're in the second part of our lesson, and we'll be looking at a new concept, which is the area. Wow, isn't it beautiful? Yes, it is very much what? Beautiful. Now, would you love to live in this house? Ah, really? You know the cost of it? Ah, it's trust me, it's very expensive. Now guess what? This area right here, you know what we're gonna do with it? Alright, listen to find out what these two couple or this couple is gonna do with this part of the land. Hmm. Hi, you know, honey, I would like to turn this little area into a patio using garden tiles. Boy, baby, it's a recession time, you know. I wonder how much tiles is required for this job. Anyway, let's go to the hardware, honey, and see what we can get. Tiles hardware. Hmm. Good afternoon, sir, madam. How may I help you today? We need some rubber tiles to fit an area of 2000 square centimeter for a new patio. Okay, we have in stock 5 by 5 centimeter square tiles like these. So, in this case, you will need 80 tiles to cover the area. Hmm, how did he know that, huh? Okay, guys, question. Do you know how to find the area of a rectangle? Remember this? Now note, the length of this rectangle is 200 what? Centimeter. And the length and the width, sorry, of this rectangle is 10 centimeters. Now note, this was the same area that the couple are going to enclose. They are going to what? Cover it with what? Tile, ceramic tiles. Here goes. Area is equal to length times width. So this is the method or the formula to use to find the area of a rectangle. Area equal length times width. And the answer is 2000 square centimeter. Now, you might be asking how we got that answer. You think about it and try it for yourselves to see if you get the right answer, right? Yes.